In this video, I'm going to be comparing all the Nintendo Switch versions, just a hands-on walkthrough of the hardware, side by side. What do these consoles look like against each other, and what's the real difference of the size? All right, so just a quick rundown. We got Switch Lite, OG Switch / version 2, Switch OLED, Switch 2, and then this is a Lenovo Legion Go. First thing we'll do is take a look at the Switch Lite versus the Switch 2. All right, so this is just a hands-on look, and you can see that the Switch 2 is very huge. The Switch Lite can almost fit within the screen real estate of the Switch 2. So very big difference in terms of the size for sure. But at the same time, the ergonomics are actually pretty good. So it doesn't really feel like a hefty device, like some of the other handhelds out there, like the Legion Go or the Steam Deck. The Switch 2 actually feels pretty good to hold and use, although it's not going to be as easy to carry around as the Switch Lite. So this is the main difference you'll see. If you look at the top, you got the power button, the volume keys, the fan vents, and you got your headphone jack. The Switch 2 actually has 2 USB-C ports, game card slots, your buttons, just like the sheer size comparison. Switch 2 versus the OG Switch / V2. Again, significant size difference. Like if you look at the screen real estate, you can see how big the Switch 2 is. The Switch 2 has some pretty big bezels for a 2025 device, but like the screen is still also a big improvement in terms of size. You can also see the difference in like the display contrast and HDR. Like the black theme on the Switch OG is not really black, it's kind of like gray, whereas on this it's dark black for sure, darker gray. Maybe that's a color difference though, so let's go to the OLED. Maybe that's a color difference, so we'll see when we get to the OLED, which has better colors and stuff. Yeah, this is how Switch 1 compares to Switch 2. Basically, things are in the same places, just the Switch 2 is going to be more refined. It has the extra USB-C port, and then of course the bigger controller. But we'll get more into the controllers later in the video, so make sure you stay tuned. All right, so now I'm going to simulate tabletop mode, and this is just a perspective from further away. And as we get closer, you'll see what the screens look like. I'm going to press play on this trailer in the eShop. So with something playing on the screen and just simulating gameplay, you can see how it looks. So this is further away, something playing on the screen. And as we get closer, you can see the screen differences, the size differences between all of them. Which one is more enjoyable to you? Obviously, it's going to be the bigger screens for sure. But I don't know about you guys, but I played a lot of hours on just this small Switch screen with other people, multiplayer in Smash Bros. The many hours of just multiplayer gameplay on a small screen. So the OLED was an amazing upgrade, and the Switch 2 is definitely a welcomed and blessed upgrade as well. I feel like one of the main benefits of the OLED and the Switch 2 is that the hinge is able to articulate in many different angles, whereas the Switch 1 is just stuck at this angle. You cannot articulate it any further. It's literally just straight up. So these ones, you could just bomb, make them really low and flat. All right, so now we have some top-down footage of the same thing. In case you're wondering, this is a large phone, so this is the size of like a Pro Max Ultra Samsung phone. Big phone and the smaller size, the base size of most smartphones nowadays. Just to give you some perspective of what we're looking at with the Switches. And then I didn't have the Switch Lite in the other comparison because it was dead, and now it's back in action. So again, you can see the comparison between the Switch 2, the OLED, the OG Switch, Switch Lite, a small Pixel 9 Pro, a large S25 Ultra Samsung, and then we got the Legion Go right here. Just showing you all these different screens for some perspective so that you can get an idea of the sizes of these screens for something that you use every day, like your smartphone you carry with you every day. You use it, you know what it feels like, what size it is. Standard small size phone, like a base model iPhone 16, or going down to the 13, 12, whatever you have. And then standard large phone, so S25 Ultra, going down to like the Plus and Ultra models of the Samsung phones, and then the Maxes and the Pluses of the iPhones. Just some perspective again. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below on the screen size differences between all of these. This is infamous right here. This kickstand was pretty doo-doo, and it would often come off and, just get lost. I've seen people break theirs. Pretty bad kickstand. It got the job done, but it was very unreliable, very easy to knock it over. The Switch OLED actually improved that, but we'll get to that after. And then compared to this is just way better. It's sturdy, strong, it's not going to come off by accident. And this piece feels very thin, but it's actually like metal. So you see it's not going to wobble or anything like that. You could definitely push it down. This can't even articulate that much. Big improvement in terms of the kickstand for sure. And then in terms of putting your SD card, it's under the kickstand on the original Switch. And then on the Switch 2, it's again under the kickstand, but it's just more discreet and easier to access. But at the same time, It's not going to just fly out because this thing popped off. Even the Switch Lite is an improvement over the original Switch in terms of the SD card slot. Has a dedicated space, kind of like the game cartridge slot, so that's cool. Now moving on to the Switch OLED. This is the big dog. This is the final Switch of the original Switches, and I feel like it was a really good hardware refresh. I definitely liked what Nintendo did, and it has a slightly bigger screen. It's almost as comparable as the Switch 2, but Switch 2 again is just pretty big improvement overall in terms of size, while still keeping it very slim, like the same thickness, but bigger profile and bigger controllers for better ergonomics for some people. Some people actually might find the original Joy-Cons more comfortable. The Switch OLED definitely improved a lot of things for sure. It's just, you can't really tell in this video, but the overall hardware was just refined a little bit more, especially like look at this kickstand and where the SD card is. The Switch 2 basically took this homework and, you know, changed it up. Obviously different design philosophy and stuff, but for the most part, the improvements were made with the OLED. And then looking at the bottom real quick, and this is what it looks like. And then Switch 2 versus the Legion Go. This is how much bigger the Legion Go's screen is. The Legion Go is like 8.8 inches. Switch 2 is 7.9 inches. It doesn't look like that significant on paper, but it's actually a pretty substantial size difference, especially because Legion Go has a taller aspect ratio as well. And yeah, so that's how the Switch 2 looks. And now the Switch Lite against Legion Go is gonna look like a toy. Switch OG, again, kind of like a toy, very small in comparison. And then again, the Switch OLED. So definitely a bigger size than the other two, but still very small in comparison. Like, look at this. And then here's where I feel like the Switch 2 is just a marvel, because low-key it has performances similar to the Legion Go and other handheld PCs of this generation. Look at how slim and small it is. And then the fact that you can plug it in and play 4K games, like you can't even do that with the Legion Go. Let's get to the Joy-Cons. Taking them off is amazing on the Switch 2. Literally just that. Simple as that. And it pops back in very easy with magnets. And you might think like you could just pull it off, but like I had to use a lot of force to even do that. So a major change for sure. For the OG Switch and the OLED, you have this button at the back. Honestly, it wasn't a bad system, but it was just very annoying in the sense of it would pop off, and also it was very easy to break. If you drop your Switch, either the OLED or the OG Switch, if you drop it once and the controller pops off forcefully, then the controller is just broken. Like that mechanism can never be fixed unless you replace it. I could just pull this off very easily without even pressing the button, because I dropped it once. And I had this Switch, it was fresh, good, and one mistake caused this to happen. So now if I'm playing games and it's getting intense in Smash Bros or something like that, very easy to just push this up while I'm playing the game. It was very annoying. That's unfortunate with that design. Honestly, I really enjoyed using them. I feel like the size is not a problem for me. The ergonomics were pretty good. The vibration that these Joy-Cons produce were really good. So Lite obviously can't pop off its controllers, but you can use external controllers with the Lite, like the Joy-Cons if you wanted to. In terms of sliding the Joy-Cons into your connector piece for the Switch 2, it literally just goes in like this. Like you can even just put it on and slide it like that. Amazing. Very easy to use. Very easy to take it off if you need to. So amazing refresh and redesign. With the OG Joy-Cons, you gotta slide it in the rail system just like on the console itself. Look at this. If I put enough pressure, because that mechanism is broken, it just slides up. But side by side, you can see the sheer size difference in the Joy-Cons. The Switch 2 Joy-Cons are just huge and very much closer to a normal controller. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy that size difference. You can see the buttons on the back, very substantial difference and change. So again, I really like what Nintendo's doing with the hardware. It's just really nice. So now let's take a closer look at the Joy-Cons themselves, and you can see just again the sheer size difference, but it's mostly the same. It's really like someone took the Joy-Con in Photoshop and just expanded it, you know, stretched out the image. You see that the base is thicker, but that just makes for a better experience when you're holding it like this. Like literally, this feels like what the Joy-Con feels like when you put attachments on to make it more ergonomic. And then both Joy-Cons on the Switch 2 have this optical sensor for using the mouse. So it literally works instantly. So if I just put the Joy-Con down, it will start working like a mouse. Like that's really cool, bro. Both sides can do that as well. Both Joy-Cons will charge on the Switch as well. It will be interesting to see what accessories we get for the Switch 2 Joy-Con, because these ones can slide onto rails of third-party accessories to charge wirelessly. So I wonder how manufacturers are going to do it. Like, will you have to push the Joy-Con onto the port, or like will it have a magnetic system like the Switch itself? We're going to see what third-party manufacturers will do. Just a quick walk around of the Joy-Cons again. And then size difference compared to the Switch Lite. The Joy-Con itself is way taller than the Switch Lite. But the buttons are mostly the same. Analog stick, mostly the same size, I believe. And it's pretty comparable. And this is with the case on, so it's a little bit thicker than what it actually is. Honestly, a Switch Lite 2 would be amazing because this form factor is actually super nice for carrying and putting in your pocket. All right, so now we're going to test pocketability. You know, some people like me will put their Switches in their pocket if they have a big enough pocket. So let's test that out. Obviously, the Switch Lite is going to be very easy to fit in a pocket. Like, literally no problems at all. It just fits. The Switch OG can also fit in a pocket very effortlessly. It will stick out a little bit more than the Lite, but yeah, if you had this, then you already know how pocketable it is. The OLED, basically the same size and will work in a pocket very easily as well. The OLED is actually amazing because of how pocketable it is, how big the screen got, and it's an OLED screen as well. So pretty nice, to be honest. If Nintendo added a browser to it, that would be sick. So you can actually use it like a tablet. And then the Switch 2, massive size difference. And it is also decently pocketable, to be honest. It does stick out a little bit more than the other consoles, but like I can carry this in my pocket if I need to and carry something else. Obviously, in these shorts, it might fall out if I do too much or like jump or something like that, but definitely possible to carry it in the pocket for sure. And this test will definitely give you an idea of what it's like to put it in like a bag or something like that. Like if you have a side bag, this will fit in a lot of bags, but the other Switches are definitely easier. The cool thing about Switches in terms of fitting them in small places is that you can take off the Joy-Cons to maximize, you know, your space. Like have it like this, for example. And the Switch 2 just makes it a little bit easier to do that because of how easy it is to take the Joy-Cons off. One interesting thing about the Joy-Cons also to note is that you can actually put the Switch 2 Joy-Cons on in any orientation. It's random and cool. It doesn't really do anything for you. Yeah, you can connect it. There'll be no issues. It won't impact the console in a negative way. And it even still works. So like, let's say I take the Switch 2 and then rotate it upside down. I can still connect the Joy-Cons and use it still. That's funny. The OG Switch, you can't do it upside down. You can do it like with the Switch facing this direction. So that like if you're, let's say, playing Smash Bros or something like that on another Switch, you can use the Switch body as like a controller type of thing. That's the use case, I feel like, for using it reverse. But yeah, it can't go upside down. So just an interesting thing to note. All right, so now just taking a quick look at the accessories for the Joy-Cons. So normally your Joy-Cons come with these, with the original Switches, and this is what it looks like. This is just a rail to make it feel a little bit more comfortable when you're using the Joy-Con itself, and it actually works pretty well in my opinion. And then you have a strap so that if you're doing like a motion game where you gotta, you know, move your arm, the strap will help you not throw the Switch into your TV and break it like the Wii. But this is what the accessories look like. Left is the Switch 2 accessory. This is more so geared towards the fact that the Switch 2 Joy-Cons also double as mouses. It has like a surface that makes it easier to slide around. But same strap. It does help with the ergonomics of the controller as well. And then it has the LED trick as well. Connecting them to the controller is very simple for the Switch 2. You just slide at the bottom and then it clicks in at the top. Taking it off. This is my first time taking it off, so let's see. You just do the same thing. You just press that button. Like, I love the engineering of this device because it's just so cool how simple and smooth everything is. So yeah, you just press that button to get it out. And then Switch 1, you're probably already familiar with this, but you just slide it on. And a lot of time, honestly, with the Switch 1, people did it by accident the wrong way and it got stuck and stuff. It caused problems with the rails. So yeah, that was an annoying issue. But once you get it on, you press the button to release it and then you just slide it off like that. But you got to make sure this lock is not clicked in. So Switch 1 was cool. The engineering was there, but it definitely wasn't as intuitive and easy to use, as seamless as the Switch 2. So now this is how it looks in hand, you know, when you're using both of them for grip and stuff like that, or just playing a game with the connectors on. This is what it looks like. It doesn't feel as comfortable as the Switch 1s, in my opinion, with these things on, but it's usable for sure. Switch 1s, this is how it looks in hand. I feel like it's a little bit more comfortable for this kind of thing, just with the rounded edges and everything. So let me know what you think about the new design for these connectors. So now these are some Switch 1 accessories for the Joy-Cons. The unfortunate thing is that you won't be able to use these accessories with the new Joy-Cons just because of the size difference and the shapes. But the cool thing is that you can still use your OG Switch Joy-Cons with the new Switch. The new Switch backwards compatibility is amazing because it works with literally everything you have. The 8-bit dual controllers do not work straight away out the box with the Switch 2. Let me know if I should upload a tutorial on how to get these to work on your Switch 2. But typically they should work, but as of right now, they need a patch to, you know, update compatibility with Switch 2. And I figured it out, but yeah, let me know. So if you have any accessories or any Joy-Cons or Switch 1 controllers, don't be afraid because you will be able to use them all the same with the Switch 2. So that is amazing. Very happy to see that backwards compatibility with Nintendo. Just taking a closer look at the connector for the Joy-Cons to make them a full controller. This is what the Switch 1 and OLED connector looks like. For the Switch 2, it's like, there's no rails at the side to keep it in. It's just mainly relying on the magnet of the controllers. So that is pretty cool. And then you see a slot to hold it in place. Then you can see the design to let you know what side is what. This is the minus and the plus. It does feel a little bit awkward though at the bottom because this has like a rounded edge like a normal controller, whereas this is like just cut off, like there's nothing there. So it feels a little bit interesting. You feel the gap, but it doesn't really hinder the ergonomics or the gameplay that much. But it's just something to point out. Just to show you exactly what I mean, you have this little gap. Your hand will kind of leak onto the flat surface of this holder versus this. It's just rounded, so it kind of goes over onto the controller. Not anything that hinders you, but something that you will notice for sure, at least for me. All right, so now we're gonna do a side-by-side of all the docks. On the left, we got the Switch 1 Animal Crossing dock, Switch 2 dock, and then Switch OLED dock, which was kind of a refresh. So the first thing you'll notice is the difference in the design. Switch 1 is a little bit more boxy. It looks a little bit more unfinished than the other ones. I feel like less refined. Switch 2 is more rounded off to kind of match the aesthetic and design of the Switch 2. And then the Switch OLED is also slightly rounded, almost boxy, but slightly rounded. And I feel like just more high quality than the Switch 1 dock. So now if we look at the sides, again, very similar across all of them. You have the USB-A ports. You can use these to connect accessories, controllers, things like that. One of the use cases for me was connecting the GameCube controller adapter for Smash Bros. Or Mario Kart. And then if we go to the back of the docks, as you can see with these ones, the OLED and the Switch 2, the cover actually comes off. If I'm constantly moving the device around, I don't even put the cover back on. I might as well just leave it off for now. You definitely want to put it on to avoid dust, as you can see right there. I kind of wish the cover was like the original dock where it stayed on the device. It's just easy to pop it down and then close it up. I really miss that design. This is what you're looking at the back. You got the same things though, HDMI, you got your charger port and then Ethernet port for the OLED. This is something that the OLED added, Ethernet from the dock itself. And then the Switch 2 is the same thing. You know, it's just the same design, but cleaner. It has a fan built in because it's allowing the console to go more higher powered and output 4K and stuff like that. So overall refined and changed, especially to accommodate the new Switch. And then OG dock, it just has the basics. It has USB-A, HDMI, and the charger adapter, the charger USB-C port. And yeah, let me know what you guys use that port for because you already had two on the outside as well. So that's basically it for this video. You know, hopefully you guys enjoyed this comprehensive comparison between the hardware of all these devices. Let me know what other comparisons and just videos you want on the Switch 2 and even the Legion Go and just the Switches in general. Let me know in the comments below what kinds of videos you want. But yeah, until the next video, we are out. Peace.